What's up, everybody? Welcome back to B Sports Buzz, the high for all things sports. Today, I'm going to do a season preview of the Chicago Sky. I know the roster isn't complete and there may still be some moves, but I want to break down every player we have on the roster now and what we can expect from them to bring to this team. So let's jump right into the training camp offers. And our recent training camp offer was to Morgan Burch. Morgan is a 6'4" forward. She was drafted in 2019 in the third round. Um, Her best season so far was 2023 with the Sky, ironically. She only averaged about 4 points. She took about 3 shots a game. She shot around 45% from the field. Um, I don't really have high expectations for this pickup. I honestly think this was just a pickup to fill a training camp spot, and because we need a backup for Angel. So I think they're just trying to fill a spot right now. And I really don't have too much on Morgan Burch. Like I said, she was drafted in 2019. She was picked up in the third round. She played 2 years in the league. Her career average is about 2 points, 1 rebound, really no assists. So I don't personally expect much from her. It is ironic that her best season so far was with the Chicago Sky. So yeah, that's Morgan Burch. Our next training camp offer went to Alex Wilson. She is a 5'9" guard from Australia. Now, Alex, on the other hand, she has a impressive resume. Alex is about 30 years old. Um, she don't really have many. She don't have any stats in the W because she didn't play in the W. But her stats for Australia is impressive. Um, she's a two-time champion. She was Rookie of the Year. All first. She won all first team honors. This current season in Australia, she's averaging about 15.7 points. Um, she gives you about 5 assists a game and about 5 rebounds a game. And that's all in 32 minutes. And 32 minutes is a lot. So if she do make the roster, I think we can expect her minutes to drop. And we'll have to see what the productivity look like with less minutes for her. She leads her Australia team in points, steals, assists, and field goal percentage in minutes. Her field goal percentage from the 2 point area range, mid range at the rim is like 57%. It's out of this world good. Her 3 point percentage is right under 30% at 29. So when I look at this signing of Alex, I see this more as like a signing to kind of replace Kennedy Carter, not Kennedy Carter production, but Kennedy Carter's style of play. Alex, she does well with driving to the rim, laying the ball up, mid range, playmaking, creating, but she struggles at that 3 point line. And what I mean by struggle is she's not over the league average. She can hit some of those shots, but that's not her go to. Her go to is to get to the rim and get to the rim by any means. I watched some highlights on Alex, and she is a tough guard. She is a really tough guard. And I think if any one of these training camp contracts have a chance of making the team, she would be my pick for making the team, just based off experience. her stats alone and what she can possibly contribute to the team. Our next training camp offer was to Arella. I don't want to butcher her last name. Arella Garantes. I think that's how you pronounce it. Arella Garantes. She is a 5'11 guard. She was drafted in 2021. And she did actually play in the league. She played in the league for Seattle and the Sparks. Outside of those two seasons in the league, 2 years in the league, she really I can get them to pronounce her name.
Arella Garantes.
Yeah, Arella Garantes. So outside of her 2 years in the league, she really didn't get much playing time. She averaged about 2 points. But she didn't really get much playing time in W. Like I said, she's a 5'11 guard, a shooting guard. So I think that was just another signing to address the need for the team. I feel like at shooting guard and at forward, we're lacking some depth, and the 3 signings so far kind of address that depth that we're lacking. For Arella specifically, I think she had an impressive Olympic run with Team Puerto Rico. Although they only played 3 games and they lost their last game, she had an impressive run with Team Puerto Rico. She averaged 12 points and 3 rebounds and added 2 assists to her stat line for Team Puerto Rico in the Olympics. So I'm thinking with her biggest downfall was that she didn't get the minutes to actually show what she's capable of. She's a big guard. She's 5'11", almost 6 feet, 176 pounds. So she's not like a small guard, which the Sky could use because we need bigger guards. But like I said earlier, if I would choose anybody to make this team, it would probably be Alex. But I really want to see what Arella does in training camp and see how she does in the preseason games before I just dismiss her completely, because I did see some of her games in the Olympics and she was impressive. Now, her field goal percentage and things wasn't that impressive. She shot about 29%. She took a lot of shots. I think she took about 20 shots, but that is like Olympic style play. So I'm not judging her too harshly based on what she did in the Olympics, but we just can't glance over the fact that she did only average about 12 points on 20 shots. So that's all for the Chicago Sky training camp so far. I do believe they're going to extend more offers for training camp because we can bring about 18 players into training camp with us. And with those 3 signings, we're at about 12 players going into training camp. Granted, we do have 3 draft picks, and that would put us at 15. So if we do keep our 3 draft picks we have left over and take them into training camp with us, we should see the Sky sign about 3 more training camp contracts. So let's dive into the other players that we have on the roster. Some returning from last year. Some are new additions to the roster, but we're going to start with Moriah Jefferson Mojo. Moriah Jefferson, to me, is one of the biggest what else in the W. I know a lot of people know her from UConn and saw what she did at UConn. And I believe in the W, she just had this stint of injuries that just dampered her career and what she can contribute to teams. But Mariah Jefferson is a solid point guard. She's played with some big names, and Sylvia Fowles. She played in Connecticut with Alyssa Thomas and Bree Jones. So she I think she played with in Phoenix with BG. So she has a history of playing with bigger forwards and centers, and she knew how to get them the ball. She was good at getting them the ball. So I look forward to see what Mariah Jefferson do for us as a team going into the season healthy, because when we traded for her last season, she did come to us already injured. And when she did play, it just looked like she wasn't in the groove of everything because of that injury setback. Mariah is a guard. She's 5'6", 130, so she's on the smaller side. She was drafted in 2016. She's an 8-year pro. So she do have experience of being like a vet, a good vet, a decent vet. And like I said, she's played with some big names at that forward and center spot. When I do these previews, I like to look at career stats. I like seeing the breakdown of the career stats because I feel like career stats kind of tell the bigger story. And I'm all about the bigger story. Like in 2024, she only played 9 games. Yeah, she only played 9 games with the Sky, with the no, she only played 9 games with don't know what this is. 23 games played. I do not remember her playing. Oh, she played a total of 23 games. Okay. She played a total of 23 games. She played 9 with Connecticut and 14 with the Sky. Like I said, productivity last season just wasn't there for her. And I attest that to just injuries. In 2023, she played more games. She started 36 games. She got 24 minutes and she averaged 10 points. She averaged 10 points and she gave you how many assists? 4 assists. And her assist to turnover ratio is 4-2, so 50%. She didn't take many field goals. She took about 10. She made about 4 and she shot 43%. And she shot 35% from 3. So when healthy, I do believe she's capable of giving the team something and producing for the team. If we look at another healthy season in 2022, where she played 30 games and she started all 30 games, her minutes was 26 minutes, another 10-point season, another good field goal percentage at 45%, 3-point percentage at 47%. Assists was 5 and turnovers were 2, so 5-2 ratio. Like I said, with Mojo, everything runs off of her being healthy, and that's for any player actually, but for her specifically, everything runs off of her being healthy. We see some of her best seasons was when she was healthy. Look at her rookie season. She played 34 games, started 34 games. She averaged 13, 14 points a game. She shot 42% from the field. She's shot 37% from the 3. So she's capable of playing at a high level. We just have to see her when she's healthy. And I think this will be kind of like a redemption season for her going into this season because she's coming off of an injury and she still has a lot to prove. And I look forward to see what she brings to this Chicago Sky team, especially being a backup for Courtney Vandersloot, with us believing that Courtney will essentially be the starter. The next player we have is Rachel Banham. Again, Rachel Banham is a returning player. from last season for the Sky. She came at the same time as Mariah Jefferson. They were traded from the same team. The Connecticut Sun. Rachel Banham is a 9-year vet, a guard, 5'10". She averages about 5.7, 6 points a game, 1 rebound, 1 assist a game. Rachel Banner is a flat out shooter. Just flat out shooter. When she's on, and we know when she's off, she's off. I feel like that's the story for almost all shooters. Shooters shoot, and they're going to continue to shoot until they get out of that slump. But Rachel Banham, again, I believe Angel stated this in one of her pressers that the addition of Mariah Jefferson and Rachel Banham really helped her because they were good, solid vets that she can go to about everything. So I look forward to Rachel Banham doing that again for this team. Rachel is another player who thrives off of opportunity. Just thrives off of opportunity. She hasn't started many games in her career, but she is a solid bench player coming off the bench. Her highest average so far was the 2022 season, where she averaged about 8 points a game. She played 36 games. She shot 43% from the field, and she shot 38% from the three. Her career overall from three is 37%. That's way over league average. That's impressive. And like I said, with Rachel, it's just simple with Rachel. It's opportunity. The same with Mariah Jefferson, opportunity. I think when these players get the opportunity to show what they're capable of, they average a little bit more. They're able to give the team a little bit more. So I look forward to seeing Rachel going into the second season with the Sky and see what she can bring to the team as far as shooting, spacing the floor, and just being that solid that our second-year players and potential rookies is going to need. The next player on the list for us is E. Will. So E. Will was with the Sky, started with the Sky last season. She came over the season before in a trade, but she started with the Sky last season. And of course, we know during the season last season, she started out hot to me. She started out hot. She showed us her jumper, her mid-range jumper. She was leading the league in blocks around the time. No, she leads the WNBA in blocks, but she didn't lead the league. I'm sorry. She leads the WNBA in blocks. But of course, E. Will did tear her ACL and MCL during the season. And that hurt the Sky, to be honest. I think E. Will injury isn't talked about enough and how much that hurt the Chicago Sky. She was playing some of her best basketball, and she looked really good next to Angel. E. Will is a 10-year vet. She's a center forward. She's that hybrid who can play the 4 and the 5. She's 6'3". She was drafted in 2015 in the first round at the 4th pick. E. Will, like I said, her bread and butter is defense. Just defense. She leads the W in block shots. So her bread and butter has always been defense, but she's always been a solid center. She always been a solid center. She averages around 10 points a game. Her overall career average is 8.6 points. But last season for the Sky, she started out with averaging 10 points a game. She was shooting 48% from the field. She don't take 3-point shots at all. If you can see, 0, 0, 0, 0, all the way down the board. But rebounds, she was getting 7 rebounds last season next to Angel. She gets about 2 to 3 offensive rebounds and 5 defensive rebounds. Her defense is her bread and butter. She averages about 2 steals a game and 2 blocks a game. And like I said, she leads the W in block shots, so that's an impressive stat for E Will. For me, what I expect from E Will is I expect her to come back and just continue from where she left off. She was having a solid season before she got hurt, and that to me was the pivotal and turning point for the Chicago Sky, because she was that vet. She was that vet for our rookies. And she was the vet on the team, honestly. And when you see one of your veteran players go down, it kind of hurts. And it hurt the Sky a lot. So I expect E Will to come in this season and just get back to where she was and get back to the form she was in. We see E Will right now in AU, and she's on the all defensive team in AU. So if we're expecting anything from E Will, I expect her to be a solid defensive player. Yeah, that's really what I expect from E Will, to be a solid defensive player. That player that's going to give you around 10 to 15 points a game, but just be that anchor at the rim for the defense. And having that alongside Angel and Camilla, it will play a big role for the Chicago Sky moving forward. Our next player on the list is Michaela Onyenwere. Michaela, I'm smiling because Michaela is probably one of my favorite players. I think Michaela has so much potential, and I just can't wait for that potential to be unlocked. And hopefully Tyler can do that with her, just unlock everything for her. Michaela is a forward, but I think she can play the two. She can play the three. She's 6 feet. Michaela is strong. Her go-to to me is more like a paint present, back to the basket, turnaround J, mid-range type player. She likes being in the post. But I know we know that could be a problem for the Sky, because we have two post dominant forwards and centers, so that could be a problem. But Michaela can also knock down the three, and like I said, I think with Michaela, we just have to wait to see her potential be unlocked. I think every season she's gotten better. Outside of the 2022 season, almost every season she's gotten better. These numbers for 2024, I think, are misleading, because if we remember Michaela's season last season, she didn't start for the Chicago Sky. By the end of the season, she was our starting three. She also, in the beginning of the season, barely got minutes, barely got playing time. So you go from not playing at all to being thrown in a starting lineup it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. But if we look back at her rookie season, she was a Rookie of the Year in 2021. She averaged about 9 points. Her free throw percentage was good. Her defensive rebounding, offensive rebounding, just a solid player. 3-point percentage, 32%. Field goal percentage was 39%. But as you go up into her career, as she gotten older, her field goal percentage is going up. And in 2021 with the Sky, she was shooting 41% from the field. She was shooting 36% from the three. She was still giving you about 2 rebounds a game. So, like I said, with Michaela, she's another player who has to just unlock that potential. She's a 4-year player. I think she's still on a rookie contract. You just have to unlock that potential. And I think Michaela is one of those players who has the potential to be unlocked. With time and opportunity, I see Michaela probably being around a 10 to 15 points a game scorer. I think she can keep up that 36%, 37% from the three, maybe 35 if it drops off. And I think ultimately her field goal percentage will go up to about 47, 48%. So I'm looking forward to Michaela's game and see what she brings to this Sky team this season, how she fits in. For me, right now with this roster, Michaela would be my starting three. I know a lot of people wants to start Beck Allen or maybe Kia Nurse or someone at that three, but for me, Michaela would be my pick for that starting three position. Who's up next? We have Rebecca Allen. Rebecca Allen is another veteran piece that the Chicago Sky added to this team this season. She played with the Phoenix Mercury last season. I know she's played with Connecticut. I think she's also played with Seattle. She's played with the Liberty. She is like a forward guard combo. She's 6'2", 9-year vet. She went undrafted. She's from Australia. She averages about 7.4 points a game, so about 8 points a game. She gets you about 4 rebounds and assists a game. Let's take a look at her career stats. I know Beck Allen is about a 36% three-point shooter over her career. Let's see. Three-point shooting. Yeah, 36.3% three-point shooter over her career. It's not bad. It's over league average. Field goal percentage, 39%. Beck Allen, go-to shot is the three. She can take up to, if you see in 2021, she took about 5 threes a game. So her go-to shot is the three, but she's a solid defender, and I don't think people give her a lot of credit for that. Her length and her ability to play the two guard and a small forward is sometimes go unnoticed, but her length help her a lot in defending. Beck Allen role for the Chicago Sky will solely be to be that 3-and-D player. I as a Sky fan, and we saw last season how much the Sky struggled with 3-point shooting and shooting from the 3-point line. So the addition of someone like Beck Allen alongside Rachel Banham and Ariel Atkins and Kia Nurse would stretch the floor for the Chicago Sky and give Camilla Angel and E. Will and Michaela Williams the space they need to operate in the paint. So I expect Beck Allen to come in and just be that 3-and-D player. I know she's struggling with injury, but if you play sports, you've almost struggled with injury at some point in your career. So I'm not necessarily holding that against her. I do want to see her have a healthy season, but I do believe she can contribute something to this Sky team. Next player on the list for us is Kia Nurse. Kia Nurse is another new addition to the Chicago Sky. Kia is another guard, veteran piece, 6 years in the league. She's 6 feet, so she's a big guard. She's not small. She averages about 8 points a game, 7.6. Gives you about 2 rebounds a game and an assist a game. Kia Nurse is another player I expect to come in for the Chicago Sky and be 3-and-D. That's kind of what she's known for around the league, but she does have the ability to put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. Her career average from 3 points is 32.4%. She's had some up and down seasons, like 2018, her rookie year, she was 29%. 2019, she was 35%. 2020, she was 23%, but in 2021, she was 35%. 2023, she was 35%. 2024, she was 33%. So Kia is kind of like this roller coaster player from 3-point line, from the 3-point area, but I expect her to get more comfortable opportunities with the Chicago Sky, knowing that she possibly will be coming off the bench. Her role is lessened here. She started a lot of games throughout her career. 2019, she started all the games. 2020, she started 18. 2021, she started all games. 2023, she started 20. And 2024, she started 27. So I think with like a lesser role and more clarity on what the team need from her, I expect Kia to kind of right the ship this season and make a comeback with the Chicago Sky. And of course, this is me talking as a fan, but I do believe that she has the ability to be a consistent 3-point shooter. So I'm looking forward to see what Kia Nurse brings to the team. She does average over her career about 10 points a game. 2020 and 2019 was her highest points per game seasons at 13 and 12. So she is a player who can get to that 12-13 range, as we see. So we'll see. We'll see what she does with the Chicago Sky. Next player on the list is Courtney Vandersloot. Courtney Vandersloot is Chicago Sky royalty, just legendary. She was drafted by the Sky. She's a 14-year vet, just solid point guard. She won a championship with the Sky. She won a championship with the New York Liberty last season. She's the WNBA all-time career assist. She's third on that list. She's a 4-time all WNBA player. She's at 2,387 assists, so she's third on that list. Courtney Vandersloot is just a point guard through and through. She is the floor general. She is what you want on your floor, especially when you have young players, especially when you have a young team. She's 5'8", 137, so she's a little bit on the smaller side, but 5'8" is good for a point guard. 14-year vet, like I said. Just something and somebody you want on your team. She is solid. You know what you're going to get from Sloot almost every game. She's going to get you into your offense. She's going to set up your offense. And that was something that the Chicago Sky was kind of lacking last season. Love Lindsay Allen, love Dana Evans, love who was our other point guard? I think it was just Lindsay and Dana. Love them down. But we led the league in shot clock violations. Can't have that happen, especially not with a young team, which means we wasn't even getting into our offense. And by the time we was getting into our offense, we were just throwing shots up at the rim not to get a violation. Courtney Vandersloot will right that ship. I think Tyler, coming from the background he comes from with Becky Hammond, they usually get a shot up within the first 15 seconds of that shot clock. And I think Courtney Vandersloot is the best point guard for that and for this team. Honestly, she's coming back to Chicago. She's coming back home to what she knows. She started her season, was drafted by the Sky. She's almost always been a starter throughout her career. She shoots about 33.7% from 3-point range and 44.7% from the field. She averages around that 12 points a game mark, her highest average being 2020 at 13. But I personally saw what she did in that 2021 season with the Chicago Sky and just how well she played next to Candace and how well she played throughout that playoff series where the Sky needed every assist that they got from her. She averages about, 7 assists a game. 2020, she averaged 10 assists throughout the season. Crazy work. Like, this is exciting for the Chicago Sky, especially for our bigs who we saw sometimes struggle to get the ball in the painted area, especially in a position where they like it. So I look forward to having Courtney on this team. We know what she's going to bring to this team, and I'm excited to see her do it. I'm just excited to see her do it. We're going to get down to our next new addition of Chicago Sky and Ariel Atkins. Ariel Atkins signing had a lot of conversation around it. Everybody just did not know what Jeff was doing with giving up the 3rd overall pick. But I like it. I like Ariel Atkins as a player. I like what she does on the basketball court. She is just a basketball player to me. She just plays ball, and sometimes that's what you need on your team. Just somebody who's going to go out there and just play basketball. And that is Ariel Atkins. Ariel Atkins is a WNBA champion. She won that with the Mystics in 2022. She is a 5-time all-defensive team player. She won that in her first 5 seasons in the league. So she is the definition of 3, go get you a bucket. I don't want to just sum her up as a 3-point shooter. She's a go get you a bucket defensive player. She's a 7-year vet. She's a guard at 5'10", 167 pounds. Solid size for a 2 guard. Real solid size for a 2 guard. She does shoot the ball pretty well from 3-point range. Her career average from the 3 is 36% over league average. She started most of her career in the league. She averages about 15 points a game, with her highest average man in 2021 at 16 points. Other than that, everything is like 14, 12, 14, 11. So she's in that range. She don't take too many shots. Her field goal average highest has been 13 shots a game. Not many shots for 2 guards, and we've seen some 2 guards who take about 20 shots a game. Her field goal percentage about 42%. Like I said, 3-point percentage is 36.2%. Free throw 84.9, so 85% from free throw. She gets you about 3 assists a game, low turnovers, and 1 to 2 turnovers a game. Not a big shot blocker. She gets you about 1, but she does average about 2 steals a game. And she's just a solid defender. She keeps people in front of her, and she plays solid defense. So I look forward to that with Ariel and having her on the Chicago Sky. We're going to see a player who loves to be in a pick and roll. Ariel likes being in the pick and roll. She can shoot the ball at all 3 levels, score on all 3 levels. A solid vet champion, and 5-time all defensive team. Like, what more can you ask for? I know a lot of people are upset because we lost that 3rd overall pick. But we have to just give this player a chance and see what it is she can do for this team, because it may be some good stuff and it may not. I always tell people that sports is a gamble. We could have kept that 3rd overall pick and drafted someone and they'd be a complete bust, and then we'll be looking like, what do we do now? And we can pick Ariel Atkins up and she can have a bad season and we'll be looking like, what did we do? So for me, I just think that sports is a gamble, and Jeff took a gamble, and this is where we at right now. So I look forward to seeing Ariel Atkins on the Chicago team. Let's get into our 2nd-year players. We're going to start with Kamilla Cardoso. Kamilla. I've been keeping track of Kamilla while she's overseas in China. Kamilla is balling. Flat out balling. And I am excited. If it's 2 players on this team that I'm excited for, is these 2nd-year players. I'm so excited for Kamilla. Kamilla had an injury coming into the season, a shoulder injury that kept her out of some games. She's a 6'7" center, 2nd-year player out of Brazil, by way from South Carolina, by way of Brazil. She averaged about 10 points for the Sky, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. I think one of her underrated skills is the fact that she can pass the ball so well. Kamilla is good at passing the ball from that center position. She shot 52% from field goal range last season. She didn't take any 3-point shots. I do want to see her stretch the floor more. We've seen her take some jump shots, and I think she's made about every last one of them. So I do want to see her take more of those jump shots, especially in mid-range area. Like I said, she gets you about 8 rebounds a game, 5 defensive rebounds, 3 boards, 2 blocks a game, 1 to 2 turnovers. She was a rookie. I'm not going to hold that against her. But overseas, Camilla is averaging almost like 20 plus points a game. Just balling, flat out balling. I see her toughness coming out more, because that's what FIBA basketball does to you. That's what Euro basketball does to you. It brings out that toughness in you because you get away with some of the calls that you wouldn't get away with in the W. So I'm excited to see Camilla in year 2. Just so excited. I think her and Angel potential of playing together is something that a lot of people kind of question, but I don't. I think it works. I think they have 2 different play styles. We see 2 players who want to score in the paint, but how they go about scoring in the paint is a little bit different. Camilla is more back to the basket. Angel can face up and take you off the dribble to get to the rim. So it doesn't bother me that they're 2 paint dominant players. I also see the potential of both of them being able to stretch the floor and eventually stretch the floor to the point where they're behind the 3-point line. It's just their second year, but I'm excited to see their growth and their development going into the second year with the Chicago Sky. Like I said, both of them are centerpieces for the Chicago Sky. Camilla and Angel is our foundation for the Chicago Sky. This is what we're building around, and I think we're adding good pieces around them to bring out the best in their games as well. So that leads us into our last and final player in Angel Reese. Angel Reese is also a second-year player for the Chicago Sky. Angel Reese is also one of my favorite players. So I may be a little bit biased, but I'm not unrealistic. Angel is a 6'3" forward out of Louisiana LSU. Again, second-year player. She averaged 13.6 points, 14 points a game, 13 rebounds a game, ran away with rebounding in the league, most rebounds ever in W history. And she gets you about 2 assists a game. Another big that I think is underrated in passing out of that big position. Both Camilla and Angel are good passers, willing passers. And I think that's what you need on your team. Angel started every game for the Sky. She played 34 games, and she started every game that she played. Of course, we know she had a season-ending injury during that LA Sparks game to her wrist. So I think she didn't play about 5 to 6 games. Her field goal percentage was 39%. This is an area that is highlighted for me when it comes to Angel. She gets this up to 47%. It's a problem for the league. She will be a problem for the league if this field goal percentage gets up to 47%. 3-point percent, 18%. She took, 3 threes, maybe 5 the whole season. She made 3. I may be wrong, but 18% she took them. And she made 3 of them. So, whoop-de-doo. She's a solid free throw shooter. I know they say 73%, but Angel is more of an 80% free throw shooter. Offensive rebounds, 5. Defensive rebounds, 8. Total rebounds, 13. 2 assists a game, 1.3 steals, 2 steals. We also know that she assists in a lot of steals, so deflections and everything. 1 block a game. I would like this to get up a little bit higher, but with her aggressiveness, going for more blocks will probably cause her to have more personal fouls. She does get about 4 fouls a game. So this is an area I would like to see her improve in, but again, we do have E Will and Camilla back there who are like anchors and really good at blocking shots. So she don't necessarily have to, but I would personally like to see her get about 1 to 2 blocks a game. Turnovers 2.2. We know with her potentially trying to transition over to that point forward that she's going to experience some turnovers, but would like to see this go down a little bit more. Um, Again, Angel is another second-year player, just like Camilla, who I think has the potential to be great in this league. Both Angel and Camilla, I see, can be in a race for most improved players, especially if Angel gets this field goal percentage up to at least 47%. I think if she gets that field goal percentage to 47% and this scoring goes up to 20 points a game, maybe 19, and her rebounds is still around 13, 14 rebounds a game, we'll be considering her for MVP. Those are MVP caliber numbers to me. And I think if she does that, we will have to start talking about her being in that MVP conversation, especially with the impact we see her have on the team last season and the potential impact she can have on the team this season with more floor spacing, more room to work. So I'm excited to see where Angel takes her game in this second season. We see what she's doing right now, Unrivaled. It's kind of like a roller coaster. She started off a little slow, picked it up, had a bad game the last game. So I look forward to see what she does today in Unrivaled as well. Um, this Chicago Sky team as a collective, I like this roster so far. We still have 3 draft picks. We still have the potential to offer 2 more training camp contracts. We don't know what direction Jeff wants to go in because Jeff likes to confuse us. So we don't know what direction he wants to go in for real. But the roster that we have so far, I like. I like. One of the biggest kickers for the Sky last season was the fact that we couldn't spread the floor. We couldn't spread the floor. We couldn't space the floor. Everything was paint dominant inside the paint. Everybody wanted to score in the paint, and we struggled from the 3-point line. We have shooters now. We have players who can make that 3-point shot and who requires the defense to be honest to them because of their potential to make that 3-point shot, which I think opens it up a little bit more for Angel, Camilla, E. Will, Michaela inside of the paint. It opens up those driving lanes to the rim. So I look forward to see what Tyler Marsh does with this team, what his coaching staff does with this team, and how each one of these players develop. To me, if the Chicago Sky figure it out and this team clicks and plays well, I think the Sky can potentially push for a 5th seed, be in the playoff, and possibly be anywhere in that range between 8 and 5. So again, that would be a upgrade, a plus for the Sky because last season we were on the cusp of making the playoffs, right outside of the playoffs. If we make the playoffs this season, that's another step in our rebuild, our retool. And like I said, I'm excited to see what this Sky team does. I think this Sky team has a chance of being special and going to the playoffs and possibly getting out of that first round. So with 3 draft picks left and 2 more potential training camp contracts coming from the Sky, I'll be back to break down the Sky again before the season starts, guarantee. Thank you guys for tuning in to B Sports Buzz. I do ask that you guys like this video, comment, subscribe to B Sports Buzz on YouTube. Follow me at It's All Jokes 2 S's _ on Twitter. Again, subscribe, follow me. I need the subscriptions. And I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Peace out.